knows I may pull that here, I'll just.
Now, we're going to start prayer. We're going to have invocations today.
That's John, he's already said his.
Yeah, John is going to. Let's get started, please. It's 10 o'clock, and it's time for Parks and Rec presentation. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. I thought the best way, since just going over the budget request for 2015 may not tell the whole story, if you'll kind of let me go through a little bit here of the different things we've had to deal with getting there. If you recall, back in August of 2011, the Board of County Commissioners, the City Council, approved a merger of the Parks and Recreation departments. It's a huge change for all the people involved, all of the public. The actual merger actually became effective January 1 of 2012. So that's something that the entire staff has been dealing with. And just to kind of recap, I know some of you have been around this more than others, but I kind of wanted to go through some of these too. Over the last 20 years, maybe before that, but at least the last 20 years, kind of a little recap of these different attempts. In 1993, there was an attempt to consolidate or merge the two departments. Neither of the city or the county, once all the work was done, actually decided to implement it. 1998, the city council and one of its committees, they came together and put together a proposal. Also in 2003, a plan was put together. That was a pretty extensive plan that the departments worked on a great deal that ended up not being implemented. And then in 2004, another plan was put together. 2005, another large plan was put together, having the entire departments working together, not necessarily just the Parks and Rec departments, but all of the support agencies that are involved in Parks and Recreation as well. 2009, another attempt at merger was made, and then in the one in 2011, it was successfully implemented. The reason I highlight some of that is that there's a lot of work that had been going on for years to try to implement a merger, also to try to have the departments sitting in good positions, so if they did merge, that they were in the best positions for it. And some of the fallout from that was the city of Topeka didn't invest a lot in their Parks and Recreation departments, at least in the last 5 or 10 years. That's one of the things that we're having to deal with now. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody in here. With that, the county commissioners, probably the very best thing that we could do at this point in time was to come up and have a professional come in, lay out a master plan that neither department had ever had a master plan before. Back in spring of 2013, this commission actually did that. That was a great move to begin to put that long-range strategic plan together. And also, I want to thank, and I see JR in here too with our advisory board. They played a key role in that, but also the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation to fund it so that no tax dollars actually went into putting this plan together. An extremely important part of this master plan is I didn't want this to be John Knight's master plan or the county commission's master plan. I wanted it to be a public master. What is it that the community, the people at Topeka, the people of Shawnee County, what did they want from a Parks and Rec department? As you can see, immediately after the commissioner signed the contract, Pros Consulting came into town, met with staff, kind of initiated the process, got everybody thinking. Then in the first week of June, they came in, worked extensively with the Recreation Division to begin working on the analysis of the recreation programs. They also sat down with the Parks Division, looked at the park inventory. All of this was put together to come up with a comprehensive analysis of all of the programs and facilities that we currently operate. Shortly after that, we started the public input process. We had focus groups that we held in the first part of August that It says approximately, I guess I would change that word approximately to over. It sounds even a little bit better, but over 200 people, either close to Parks and Recreation or have nothing to do with Parks and Recreation, sat in through that process of helping the department kind of set some vision. In September, Pros Consulting came back to do some benchmarking analysis. We compared what we were going to find out and what we did find out with other, we tried to find some other merged city-county operations. We tried to find some other capital cities and other similar-sized communities, and that was a lot of the work that we did there in September. In October, the Pros Consulting again returned. We did a lot of work on putting together a comprehensive needs assessment or survey that was distributed to the public. We had tremendous response to that survey, and we have some very good data that will be very helpful to the commissioners going forward, as well as staff when we look at programming and facilities. We also held 3 public forums in the middle of November. Each of the commissioners led one each of those public forums. They were held in each one of the county commissioners' districts, and we had some of them we had tremendous attendance at, and some of the others we had good at, but we did have good attendance at all of them. The survey results came back in late November. Began sitting down and talking about some of those type of things, and then we returned to the county commission with a visioning workshop, which we held down here as part of the county commission agenda. Also, again, another opportunity for the public to provide some input into the master plan. If you'll recall, just a few weeks ago, we were here with the final draft of the plan that was presented to the county commissioners. I'll probably return within a week, 10 days, with a resolution to the commissioners to accept that final plan, because all of the changes from that June 26th meeting have now been made, and that plan is ready to go. Just as a reminder, the project scope, from the very beginning, this commission, as well as me, thought it was very important to have significant community input and to identify separate visions for the land, facilities, programming, operations, staffing, and financing. So we have separate visions for each one of those. The commission asked for a comprehensive community needs assessment and how it compared to other similar communities in the national trends. That is included in that plan. And a recreation program analysis, really looking in depth at the recreation programs that the recreation division offers, the pricing that goes along with it. This is a process that has just begun. That's one of the, as part of the implementation plan, that's one of the things that you'll probably be seeing, regardless of how we fare on this budget request. That's probably the first step, is identifying the true costs of these operations so we can make good business decisions. Would it be better? Would it be a better situation to contract that out to a private company, to do it ourselves? If a significant number of people are not using certain facilities, maybe that's one of the places that we begin to save money. You'll start to see a lot of those type of things as we move forward. Also, we did a comprehensive park and facility analysis and a ground maintenance management plan. I think what you'll find is that we do a pretty good job, but we don't do an even job across the county. It looked like our consultant suggested that we take a look at the smaller neighborhood parks, look at them and see if they are actually an asset to our system, and if they are, then fix them up and hold them at the same level that we do some of our other facilities. And then also a financial plan and funding strategies to make the department as self-supporting as it can, because we understand the situation that the county is in. If you recall, the purpose of the master plan is for a resource for us, and we tried to design that so that it covered the next 10 years. But also, I thought that it was pretty important that the community see an accredited department and take that extra step to provide not only the county commissioner but the department and the public the feelings and the knowledge that we're doing the best practices with their tax dollars, those type of things. Just quickly, the community vision for the land is to make all parks a place of civic pride, passive and active positive use that supports healthy and active lifestyle for people of all ages. Sounds real good, but our main goal is to maintain high quality. And I would say, before we get in too much into the actual budget request, that's an area of concern that we have right now. The most recent cuts has brought that. It's a concern of mine. I think if you pull Terry Bertles, Randy Luby, Kerry Golden, any of the people in this room aside, and ask if they're happy with the product they've been presenting to the public, I think you'd get a unanimous no. We're doing the best we can, but we would, I think the people at Topeka and Shawnee County, the level that they would like to see at least some of their parks and trails and community centers, they'd like to see them better. And that's what you'll see a little bit later in our presentation. It would be the same thing here. We need to take a look at our indoor and outdoor facilities. They're providing a valuable asset to the community, then we need to fix them up, make them high quality. If they're not doing that, then we need to look at some other options of reducing what we offer there, looking for partners to come in and run them, or looking at other options. That's all things that you're likely to see next year. We also had a separate community vision for programming. I see that H.R. Cook has been reading the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and stealing our Lifetime of Memories quote and got a whole bunch of paper. If I'd known he was going to do that, I would have scheduled mine before him. Basically what we got from the programming is a lot of what we do, the core programs are the things that we should be doing, but we need to look at them more from a business aspect, look at some of those type of things. The programming, the fees that go along with them, make them more sustainable. But then also down here, he's suggesting that some areas that we were kind of weak were outdoor adventure, adaptive recreation, senior services, and the health and wellness. Operations and staffing. This is an area that to reach the budget that was submitted last year, we took severe cuts to our operations and staffing. We need to really look at that, and by the time we do a good analysis of what we do, some of those positions or somebody to do that type of work, whether it be volunteers or temporary seasonals, which is good and bad in some of those type of things that we'll have to begin looking at. But the main goal here is to determine the right staffing levels based on the right person for the right job with the right skill, and set the right pay to achieve the right outcome. I know you have probably heard this from other departments, but it has been many years since staff have been able to get any kind of cost of living allowance, any kind of step increases, those type of things. They've been working out there in the field, working really hard, and it's something that's probably due. But I also know the situation you guys are into with the funding. Financing, this is probably the biggest change that we were looking at here on financing, is we had always been a tax dollar supported agency, and I've been working with Betty already to try to find some ways that maybe staff can benefit from in their programming, and facility operation can benefit from earned income. Basically that gives them the incentive to go out to do that extra work if that money turns right back around, and able to help them increase their operations, those type of things. And Betty and I have been talking about some different ways we may be able to do that. She hasn't said no to every one of them ideas yet. So, operational efficiency that I do want to touch on real quick, just to kind of give you a history. I did give a little bit of history on the merger. But as you can see, I went back to 2008. This is the funding that has come to our department. PAROT is Parks and Recreation of Topeka, and SCPRO is Shawnee County Parks and Rec. In 2008, I also went back and then also added West Lawn Memorial Gardens, because that is an operation that came to Parks and Recreation, was absorbed, and also facility maintenance was also absorbed by Parks and Recreation. So as you can see from these numbers here, if you just looked at the Parks and Recreation numbers, you wouldn't get a good comparison. If you look at all of them, back in 2008, between the city and the county, we were spending 17 million, a little bit over, for the operation of all of those departments. Probably the benchmark year that I was looking at was the most spent was probably in 2010, where Parks and Recreation Services, Parks and Recreation alone, was a $17.7 million operation. Couple that with the West Lawn Memorial Gardens and the facility maintenance, it was an $18.7 million operation to run everything that we are currently running now. It also shows on there the great work that the people here in this room have done to reduce those expenses. As you can see clear over here in 2014, since that benchmark year of 2010, the entire operation budgets have gone from 18.7 million to 13.6 million. That's a dramatic decrease in funding. They've been working really hard, and to say that the public hasn't noticed would not be a true statement. We do hear from the public. I don't think that they're grossly dissatisfied with the product Parks and Rec is submitting to them, but they also remember other days as well, and I think they'd like to see those increase. That was the budget. This is the full-time employees. The same type of comparison. West Lawn Memorial Gardens was a contract that we had reduced $250,000 of county expenses over the last 7 years, but there was no employees involved in that. The employees numbers, again, if you use that benchmark year of 2010, even though it's not the highest one, they had 169 and a half employees, and this last year we operated with 107.9 employees, a dramatic decrease in that as well. When we put together the budget request for 2015, we were directed by Audit Finance to put together a budget request that was flat, plus included a 27th pay period. That's the number that you have here in this middle column. I did not feel that I would be doing my job correctly if I did not tell you the stuff that we own, that we are responsible for maintaining, what it would cost to actually operate the way it should be operated, the Parks and Recreation Department. That's the number that you'll see here. One other note that I'd like to say is we did submit the 2015 budget request without the building maintenance operations. That was submitted as a separate budget to Audit Finance, and that's in the neighborhood of a $600,000 budget. Another change that you'll have seen from previous years was in 2014 I submitted 5 different budgets. One for recreation, one for parks, one for golf, one that was labeled park, police, and campground, and one that was the West Lawn and administration. I don't think that was a very good way for me to submit it to the county commissioners. One, just the heading alone on West Lawn and administration would lead me to believe that that's the administration of the West Lawn Cemetery, if I didn't look any farther than that. And but what it actually entailed was the administration of the entire department, plus the operations of the West Lawn Cemetery. With the reductions that we received last year, instead of going in and making individual cuts to each one of these budgets, we massaged those divisions as much as we could. And that's why I thought in 2015 the best way is to submit a budget for Parks and Recreation, and then we as administrators and our staff will decide how much is going to each one of those, but we'd be happy to answer any questions leading up to that. And again, I just want to highlight that I did submit a separate request for facilities maintenance. Where does most of the money in Parks and Recreation go? Still most of it goes to salaries. That's kind of a breakdown between the union classified overtime, temporary, seasonals, intermittents. We did lose over 20 permanent employees, which came out of a mixture of the union and classified. But some of those hours were then supplemented with temporary seasonals, so that number is probably a little higher than it was in previous years. And it is less expensive to use temporary seasonals, but you do lose some professionalism and some quality as well. But of the Parks and Recreation Department, $6.5 million and some change goes just to salaries and wages. One thing, we did ask for a new position within our department, the Shawnee, and it would be a volunteer coordinator. The Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation, working with the Friends of the Zoo, is working. The Friends of the Zoo had a similar need, so they are looking for a volunteer coordinator. The foundation is going to pay for half of those services if they spend half of their volunteer coordinator services times with us. My anticipation, and I know this to be true, the zoo needs a full-time volunteer coordinator, so does Shawnee County Parks and Rec. So I'm asking now, in this budget, we're going to need this position in 2015, even though we haven't started the 2014 one yet. There's a contract offer out there right now. As budgets shrink across the country, more and more people are going to more and more use of volunteers. We already have a very good volunteer program, but nobody's coordinating it. We have numerous people from around our department who's all working on different parts of that. I think we can get a lot more for our dollars by coordinating those type of activities. Contracts, just to kind of talk to you a little bit about contracts. I know that's one of the items that you may have questions about. What we will be doing in short order is developing different agreements with different partners, both public and private, whatever is the most cost effective. Some of this was recommended in the master plan, but some of that kind of stuff too has been started before. For instance, recently before you was some operation of some preschools that save significantly some tax dollars. We'll examine all of the existing agreements, develop what a cost of service factor is, and measure those against our partnerships, and change any of the existing ones that we have to make them as equitable as we can. And then, of course, any of them that are no longer working or not good deals for us, we'll be eliminating those contracts. The expected contracts, now again, I want to remind you that I submitted a separate budget for the facilities maintenance, so I didn't want anybody to think that Bob's Janitorial $2,300 cleans the courthouse and annex. That's just them cleaning a couple of our community centers, which is primarily the floor work, buffing, and those type of things, and a couple of our high-use community centers. This kind of runs the full gamut here, from ones that provide direct service for us. I would say that the two down here for the Lake Shawnee Golf Management, that looks like a huge number, $333,000. But for that agreement, they collect, run the programs, draw the crowds in, and for that we get over $1 million in return in revenue. This would be the other way to do that would be to hire your own golf pros and golf course staff, which would be much more than $333,000. I don't want to go into too much detail because Austin's back there and may want to renegotiate his contract if I tell him how valuable he is. Memberships, dues, and subscriptions. I assume the county commissioners would have a lot of questions about that, so I did put a slide up here. Subscriptions. Some of those subscriptions were preschool related, as you see the very first one on there, so some of those may reduce. But all of that happened after I submitted this. Most of the rest of them you see on there are very important to the staff who are working on those, both education, continuing education for staff, working with the specific areas that they work with. Those are all on there. And then I know when this slide pops up, it kind of looks like I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. But one of our biggest, this is the one here that talked about, these are the agencies that we benchmarked ourselves against: Augusta, Georgia; Des Moines, Iowa; Little Rock, Arkansas; Richmond, Virginia; Salt Lake City; Springfield, Greene County, Missouri; Tacoma Metro Parks; Tallahassee. Kind of shows on there who we compared to, but as far as earned income, there may be some potential there when we talk about pricings that we can recover some additional funds. As you can see here, if you divide the number of amount of revenue we brought in by how many people live in Shawnee County, it was an equivalent of about $27.08 per resident that lives here in Shawnee County. With that said, as you can see, that falls somewhere in the middle of some of these others, and a long ways away from Tacoma Metro Parks. With that, that's the end of my presentation. When it gets to specific questions about line items, those type of things, I will say I got very thorough staff here with me today. Randy Luby, the Recreation Director, Terry Bertles, Parks Division Director, Gloria Cortez Leonard. Also in the back, I got Mike Cope, Park Police Chief, Linda Kelly, Kerry Golden, Golf Director, and next to him is Austin Tillman, the General Manager of Lake Shawnee Golf Management. Be happy to answer any specific questions you may have.
Questions, Commissioner Bueller?
John, how many employees do you have? Can you say that number again?
107.9 permanent employees.
Permanent employees?
Yeah.
And how many intermittent?
800?
Closer to about 450.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have right now.
Commissioner Cook?
John, I'm sure Commissioner Archer will correct me if my math's wrong, being the accountant that he is, but if I did some quick calculation, the flat budget versus the needed budget is about a 26% increase. It's $2.5 million, or actually more, I'm sorry, 13,000,008 to 17.4. Is all of that needed in one jump? Can some of that be phased in, or is the department just need it now?
Well, it's needed now, but I understand the situation that you guys are in. Every department that's come before you, I'm assuming, is in a similar type thing, maybe not quite as bad a situation as I'm in, but everybody's in a tough situation. What happens if we don't go to that now is we'll have to begin to reduce services, employees, and facilities even farther.
Okay.
But there may be an opportunity there for some of that. But yes, it's needed now. All you got to do is kind of walk through the parks, maybe your voicemail, I'm not sure, but some of the parks, we're not happy with the amount of clover. We're not happy with it's not that we're doing a bad job, but we're doing a mediocre or fair job when my standards, and I think the standards you guys would like to see, are either very good or good. And I think that's where you see a lot of our reduction.
That's it? I guess my thought, and I appreciate you going back through the consolidation efforts and how we got to where we are. I'm looking forward to the final master plan, the final strategic plan, and in my opinion, it will be implemented. I think that's the thing to keep in mind. I think there are going to be timing challenges. The schedule of the plan is very, very aggressive. There's going to be timing challenges. There's obviously going to be operational challenges. I know it really asked the administration to do a lot of work in a very short time. And then finally, there's going to be financial challenges and capital spending challenges. But we're going to work on those. The bottom line is our plan is going to be implemented. Okay?
Rest assured from everybody in this room, we'll implement it as well.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, on the facilities,
Mhm.
it was parked there in Parks and Recreation, and I think we've determined, at least I've determined, that it's probably not the best place for it as far as management of
The what was?
facilities.
Oh, yes.
Facilities. And that, I think this commission needs to make an effort to really focus on that, and I've mentioned that before. I'll
More
say it
than
again.
once.
I know. But not only short-term, but long-term needs for this county in regards to buildings and facility management. And I appreciate your efforts, Terry, your efforts.
Well, I'm glad you highlighted Terry, because for instance, we
Yeah.
have a huge event going on out at Lake Shawnee. We've got a World Series coming here,
Yeah.
and he's up there at the North Annex trying to figure out why an air conditioner's not going.
Exactly.
To have him in that situation where he's trying to prioritize between the two is a
Yeah.
tough job.
Well, and I think since, 2012, that first year, and we've realized, I think now, that we really do need to pull it out of there and focus on it, and so I appreciate you doing a separate budget for it. And since we cut the Parks and Recreation budget, I mean, I have heard from a number of people that they are concerned that we will implement this master plan, and so I'm thankful to hear that, Commissioner Archer, because I think there is a huge value in Parks and Recreation. And I know our job is to balance, public safety needs, Parks and Recreation needs, public health needs, public work needs. But I hear most often about Parks and Recreation that they want to see investment. And we have a plan now to do that, and so I'm hopeful that we can find some dollars in the budget to do exactly that.
That would go along with, I didn't include this slide, but one of the survey questions was investment back into Parks and Recreation. The number was 87%, either very much or extremely important to them, wanted investment back into their Parks and Rec department. That number's high, and I asked Leon, he said it was high and may be one of the highest ones he'd seen in any of the community master plans that he had done, so.
Thank you.
But, yeah, we have public safety needs, we have Parks and Rec needs, but we also have to consider property taxpayers
exactly.
in Shawnee County.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't, we should never forget that. So, Commissioner Cook, do you have any final thoughts?
No.
I would say that I think that our consultant did hit on that, and that's a lot of why he was talking about some of the earned income, Parks and Recreation,
Yeah.
the specific program, people who are getting an individual benefit out of that. Should they be being subsidized by the general tax base? No, they shouldn't. They should fund that themselves, and I think that's a lot of the recreation stuff that Randy and his division will be working on, so I think that addressed that as well.
Okay, good deal. Good job, good presentation. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I think that's all we have. We'll reconvene at 1100 to talk to Public Works. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a copy of that?
If you guys,
Do we have a copy of that?
I can make you one.
Can we just